The best way to get started with Siri shortcuts is by simply figuring out a problem that you have that you want to solve. In this episode, I'm going to be solving two problems starting from scratch in Siri shortcuts. Let's talk tech. How's it going? Will here, and we're going to just dive right in. So, the very first problem I want to solve when it comes to capturing things quickly is I use TickTick to capture my ideas. So, let me show you. We're going to navigate over to TickTick. I'm going to open it up. And as you can see, it lands on the inbox. So if I want to capture something, the first thing I have to do is I have to click into where it's at. So where is it that I want to capture it? It's in my ideal bank. So then I have to navigate to what is it? Is it a podcast I want to capture? Is it a tech? So for Will Talk Tech, it would be here. Then I would have to click here and then I can capture my ideal. I don't like that. I want to be able to, when I have an ideal, I want it to be able to just seamlessly, I want to be able to start typing my ideal out and expand on it. Now, with TickTick, because the automations aren't as sophisticated as I would like them to be, it's an extra step we have to do. So let me show you how we would be able to create that shortcut, okay? So we're gonna close out of TickTick and we're gonna open up shortcuts. Now, with Siri shortcuts, you have Siri shortcuts. If you don't, let's open up the App Store. I can show you where to get it from. We're just gonna click right there and I'm going to just type in shortcuts. Let's click right there. We're going to type in shortcuts by Apple. And you can see it's right here. It's 100% free. And if you don't have it, you can come right here and install it. I highly recommend you install it because I'm telling you, this app is phenomenal at speeding up your productivity. But not only that, but just making the boring stuff more fun or skipping steps altogether. All right, so let's open it up. So right now, these are some of my shortcuts, but we're gonna go into Playground because I have a section just strictly for when I wanna do things like this. So we're gonna start by hitting the plus sign. Now, this is how your first shortcut is gonna look. And I wanna draw your attention to this right here where it says scripting. I highly recommend you come over here and get familiar with these right here because what these allow you to do is to enhance whatever you're doing. So if you're working with an app and maybe that app don't have a feature built in, you might be able to find it under scripting. So you definitely want to make sure you come over here and look at this. Now, the bare bones simplest way to get started with shortcuts is best practices is just going to the app that we want. So if the app we want is TickTick, I'm gonna click on it right here. And this shows me all the things I can do with TickTick. So it says add event to calendar. If I don't know what it is, I just open it up and it says it right there in plain English, add event to calendar. If I want to know what else I can do, all I have to do is click on the I and it will give me more information based on each task. So the very first thing I want to do before I do any shortcut is I want to add a comment. Now, if you have an idea of what it is you want to do, but you're not sure where you'll find it, try typing in like keywords and it'll 9 times out of 10 it'll pop up for you. I don't know where things are in shortcut. I use the search bar for everything. It's kind of like on my iPad. I don't know where the features are, but I have a general idea of what it should be named. So I search by that specific keyword and anything related to it pops up and I'm able to find it that way. Here's what commenting does. We're going to click on it. You can say this action lets you explain how part of a shortcut works when run. This action does nothing. So basically, this is just a reminder of what that shortcut was at the time I created it and what it do. So I'm going to pop this in right here and I'm just going to quickly write out what I want this to be. Ideas. So that's what I want to do. Okay. So I know if I want to pick from a list, then I need a list. So again, if we come back over to scripting, we can come over here and we can look for things and see if there's anything that allows us to pick from a list. So you can see the dictionary, you can see get from dictionary. If we keep scrolling down, we can see other things. Now, again, what I do is if I want a list, I would type in the word list and see what pops up. So we can see get from get item from list. So if we click right here, it says returns one or more items from a list passed as input. You can get the first item or the last. Okay, so reading that, that's not what I want. So I'm not going to use that. If I click on right here where it says choose, so you can see I put in a list, but you can see choose from menu popped up. That's what I want. If I click on it, it says presents a menu and runs different actions based on which menu item was chosen. That's exactly what I want. So I would click on that right there and notice I didn't type in list. I typed in list, but I didn't type in menu. But Apple or Shortcuts was smart enough to know what I was referring to. My prompt is just simply, what do you want it to say? So I can say, pick one. For this one, I'm going to actually, I think I'm going to actually open up TickTick to make it a little bit faster for me. So I'm going to say TickTick, open that up. And now what I want to do is I'm going to grab this and grab this, and I'm going to put them in a split screen, like so. Now, because I'm only using TickTick for the name, which is this right here, I'm going to click right there because this is the only reason why I have TickTick open. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here. The first one is going to be willtalktech. The next one is going to be SBS Profits. The next one is going to be Focus and Grit. And this is going to be SBS Profits. The next thing I want to do is for the very first one, I want to add them in. So you can see this is Will Talks Tech. So I'm going to come to my first one. And the first one I'm going to do is going to be ask for input. Now, why am I using ask for input? I'm using, if we click right here, it says displays a dialog prompting the user to enter pieces of information. All right, so this is how I'm be able to create my ideal. And I highly recommend you click right here to add it to your favorite. So if I click on favorites, you can see ask for input right here because you're going to use it a lot. So I'll be able to drag it right here. Is asking for text. And since this is Will Talk Tech, it's going to be what's your tech idea? So now if we run this, if I push play on it and I click on Will Talks Tech, you can see I get a drop down menu. If I click right there, it's going to give me an input. And if I say my ideal is, let's say, I can say shortcuts masterclass, and then I can elaborate saying I would like to create a masterclass around starting from scratch. I'm going to actually copy this because we're going to have to copy it again. So I'm just going to copy it. All right. And then I can say done. Now, it didn't do anything because as you can see, I have a prompt down here. That's why that one ran. This prompt ran because this is outside of the menu. So I'm going to say cancel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delete that one. And we're going to do that one more time. Say will tech. We're going to paste it. I'm going to say done. And now when we come down here, you can see you get an output of what I put. So now what we want to do is we want to do something with that output. Now, because this is TickTick, like I said earlier, this doesn't have all the key features as some of the other ones. So we're going to have to copy this to our clipboard. All right. So if we come back over here, we type in clipboard, and you can see once we type in clip, you get clipboard, which means we can pull stuff down from our clipboard or we can copy to our clipboard. In this case, we want to copy something to our clipboard. So I'm going to drag and drop it right there. And you can see right there, it automatically puts it where it go. But before I do that, I'm actually going to say, I'm going to show you how I was doing it when I was first learning it so it'll make sense to me. So I'm going to say, so what we want to do is call a variable. So when I say VA, you can see it right here, set variable. And if we click on this, you can see set the value of a specific variable to the input of this action, anything. So basically what that means is you can change the name and you can change the variable if you want to. So I can change the input to folder or whatever, but I'm going to show you. So if I come right here, you can see that this name right here is provided input. I want to change that. So I'm going to click right here And you can see right here where if I wanted to change the input, this is where I would do it. I can change it to file extension, date, whatever. I'm gonna leave it at text because that's what I want. If I wanted it to be something else, I have all of these options down here. But in this specific case, I want to leave it at text, so I'm not going to touch it. And I'm going to change this name to, we can change it to idea. So I'm going to change it, I'm going to change the input to idea. And now you can see that this has been changed to ideal. So now when I come back over here and I click on, I'm going to type in clipboard, if I can spell, and you can see right here, we have the clipboard again. Now I want to drag the clipboard back down here. Now you can see what's going on. You can see that this is going to ask me for input, and whatever I put there is going to be passed as, is going to be changed to my idea, and my ideal is going to be copied to my clipboard. If we run this, we'll see that it'll be copied to the clipboard, but we're not finished yet because we still haven't told it to do anything. It's just copy to the clipboard. After it copy to the clipboard, what do we want it to do? Well, in this case, I want it to open up to willtalktech. All right. So I never knew how, when I'm on camera saying willtalktech, how much of a tongue twister it would be. But that's what we're going to do. So now I'm going to come back over to TickTick. So we're going to go back to the app because this is what we wanted. But remember, everything we've used, the scripting actions has nothing to do with TickTick, which is why I say you want to get familiar with the scripting actions and what they do. So now what I want to do is I want to open a list. You can see you can add an event, you can add a task, check habits, add task from list, open list. This is what I want to do right here. So I'm going to pull this down right there. And once I do that, you can see it says list. If I click right there, you can use tags or you can use smart list. In this specific instance, I'm going to use a list. I'm going to click right there and you can see all my lists pop up. So what list do I want to open? I want to open willtalktech. Now we're going to click play, willtalktech. I'm going to paste from the last one and then I'm going to add to it just so you'll know that this shortcut works. So I'm going to say if you're reading the end of this, it worked. All right, so now when I hit done, it should pass this information, should copy it to the clipboard, should go to TickTick, open up TickTick, and open it up to willtalktech list so I could just begin to create. All right, so now I can say done. And as you can see over here, it instantly opened it up to this. So I'm gonna close this out really quickly. We're gonna close that out just so you can see it open up. So let's come over here. Let's go to today view. We're gonna completely close this out. We're gonna come back over here and now we're gonna do it again. We're gonna say play. We're gonna touch on willtalktech. I'm gonna paste it from the clipboard. I'm gonna say done. And now you can see it opened up to willtalktech. Now all I gotta do is press the button. I like to come right here, paste in my idea, and then I like to take this right here, I cut it, and then after I cut it, I back that up to the top, and then I just place this as my title. And then from there, I continue to work on my outline or whatever. I can come over here, add my tags, and keep going from there. But this is how it works. I really, really like this because it removes a lot of the friction. And the fact that I'm able to launch that directly from anywhere using a shortcut is pretty awesome to me. So if we come back over here, the only thing we're going to do is we're literally going to do the same thing again. Now, right here, I'm not sure why this didn't change from 1 to Will Talks. This, instead of it saying 1, it should have changed. So what I could do is I could leave out of here. Well, it just crashed on me. So I can close out of shortcuts. I can open shortcuts back up, go back to my playground, and I have a choose from menu action. That is this one right here. And now you can see that shortcuts is working because when I closed it out, all my names updated. As you update these names down here should automatically update. Now, This is really, really simple. Literally, all I'm doing is going through doing this for the same ones. So if I come over here, let's go over here to my favorites. If I ask for input right here, I can say, what's your idea for SBS profits? Or just to make sure I know I'm in the right place, I can say, what's your video idea? And then from there, I can come back over here. I can say set variable. From there, I can click right here, change this variable to video. I can say SBS profits video idea. Now I got that there. I can come back over here to copy to clipboard, and I'm gonna press plus on this. I'm gonna actually add that to my shortcuts. Now I can say favorites. Okay, I meant to favorite it first, but that's fine. So that's a get. I want a copy. So I'm gonna say copy to clipboard. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna say add to favorites, which is right here. Once I do that, I'm gonna say drag that down to right here. And now it should say SBS Profits video idea. Now when I go back to my favorites, I can literally say, actually we got one more thing to do over here. So I'm gonna come to TickTick and I'm going to click right here where it says open list. I'm gonna add that to my favorites as well because it's one that I use all the time. And I'm gonna drop it right here. And now I can click right here and I can scroll down. This is SBS Profits channel idea because that's the one we up under and that's what it'll open up now. Now if I come back over here to favorites, now I can literally just do everything from here. I could ask for an input, I could set the variable, I could copy to clipboard. Let's see, copy to clipboard, and then I can open this up. Now I want to show you something cool about it. Okay, so first we're gonna put in our prompt. What's your podcast idea? And then we're gonna click right here. And I want you to pay attention to this because you see this input right here. Watch what happens to this input when I change this one. So I'm gonna change it from provide input to podcast idea. All right. And you see that dynamically changed. Pretty cool. So now all I gotta do is click on list and I'm talking about the podcast. So now I can do podcast. And now we're gonna open up to our blog post, which is going to be right here. Now, this shortcut right here is complete. Now, if I click play, I can click on any one of these and it's going to do what it's supposed to do. So instead of doing Will Talk Tech, we know it worked. Let's do a random one like Focus and Grit. You can see it saying, what's your podcast idea? I'm going to say, how about create intro for, how about introduction for Will Talk Tech? Talk about the main 3 to 5 reasons you decided to create Will Talk Tech. All right, so I'm going to say done. And now you can see it open up Focus and Grit. Click plus. Remember, I want to paste it in the description area because I want to copy the headline. I'm going to bring this all the way up, pull this up, paste this. And now what I could do is I could come over here, click tag, and I could type in podcast, which is right here. And then I could type in, wouldn't be personal development, it would be, we can call it heart to heart. All right. And that's what this would be. All right. So I'm going to actually click back over here because my other tag didn't come up. So I'm going to click on it again, say done. Okay, there we go. So now we have this, and now I can easily capture ideas from anywhere I want to. So I no longer have to open up TickTick and hope it works. I can even launch this from here. But before I do that, first let me go in and give it a better name versus choose from menu. So I'm going to say rename. And to keep it simple, I'm going to call it TT idea. All right. So now I can leave out of here, come back over here, Command space is how I bring up this, and I can say TT idea, and now you can see it allows me to run it from here. All right, so if I say, let's see, Will Talk Tech, I could say, okay, so this is a glitch that I can't get around for whatever reason right now. It is it's typing behind this box. So I'm hoping they fix that with the new update, but as you can see, it's typing behind this box. So when you launch it from there, I have to, the only other way to launch it is by using a widget and launching it from that widget. Now, the funny thing is on the phone, it doesn't do that. But for whatever reason on my iPad, I have a hard time launching it because when I say TT idea, it pops up as you can see. And this is what's activated. But this part don't go away, so it's still controlling my keyboard. I hope Apple come up with a fix for that, but that's what goes on there. But if you wanted to see me launch it from, let's say, someplace else, I can easily hold my screen. All right, click right there. And I'm actually going to come over some. I'm going to pick this one right here and say add widget. I'm going to actually delete this one. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to come here. I'm going to change this to playground because that's what that is at. I'm going to open it back up. And now you can see if I click on done and I click on TT idea, now I'll be able to completely control it and it's working, which is pretty cool. And if I say done, it's going to open up to whatever I picked. And if I click on plus and I try to paste it, I get whatever I pasted. So I really like this. This saves me a lot of time, especially on my phone when I'm working and I want to be efficient. This saves me a ton of time. Now, the next problem I want to solve is one where, let's say, as you can see, I put my ideas in TickTick. However, I work out of another one, which is OmniFocus. So if you look right here at OmniFocus, well, first let me show you this. If we go over to active projects, you can see right here up under, let's see, when we click on active projects, you can see we have how to create a shortcut. Now you can see I have all of these things to do over here. These are just things to remind me that I need to do. But we come over to OmniFocus, what you're going to see is I don't have those same things that need to be done today. So how do we make sure that when we start working on a project inside of TickTick, that we automatically bring it over to OmniFocus as well? It's really easy, but you will need one more app to make this work. So let's head over to the App Store so I can show it to you. And if I'm not mistaken, this app is free. It's called Data Jar. What Data Jar does is it allows you to hold key pieces of information. So as you can see, you can hold information and then you can use a specific key to pull that information into your shortcuts when you want it. You can use it for API keys and a ton of other things. This is pretty cool stuff. All right, so let me show you how I fix this problem. So now that we have Data Jar again, I'm pretty sure it's 100% free to download. They do ask for a tip. I highly recommend you do it because this app's rock. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you these right here. So if I come back over here, this is what I need, all right? So I'm gonna say copy, all right? Now, when we working on this inside of OmniFocus, we want it to show up exactly the way we see it, which is shortcuts, how to create your first shortcut, and then we want this to show up right here without things to do, of course. So what I'm gonna do right now is if you have a keyboard, then you can use the tab key. If you don't have a keyboard, then you have to use something like drafts or something like that to be able to tab over in order to make this work. All right, so I'm gonna open up Data Jar and I'm gonna click right here and just say add new value. The value is going to be, we can call it TickTick project. And you have to make sure you pay attention to how you type it in, because however you type it in this field as the key is exactly how you have to type it in later. So I'm going to say Control V. Now, what I want to do is I want to get rid of all of this stuff right here. So all this extra stuff, I want to just get rid of it. All right, and this is the last one that needs to be deleted. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop down a space. You're going to see why I drop down a space a little bit later. Now what I want to do is highlight everything, and okay, that didn't work the way I thought it was going to work. I wanted to tab over, but I guess I have to do it individually one at a time instead of all at once. All right, so this is how I want it tabbed over. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to copy this project. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to save. Now I have TickTick projects, right? Now what I want to do is I want to come back over to shortcuts, and I want to create a new shortcut up under playground. Delete this one just because I want it to show up above, and I'm going to create a new one. And first thing I'm going to do is add a comment, and this is going to be, so this is what I'm doing. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at TickTick. Well, actually, I want to look at OmniFocus because this is OmniFocus. So as you can see, OmniFocus has a lot more, which is a lot better. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of here because we're not ready for OmniFocus yet. So I'm going to say ask for input. Remember, this is how we get information in. So I'm going to say, what's the project name? I'm going to come over to favorites. I'm going to set a variable. And I'm going to change this to project name. All right. That's what I want. Next, I want data jar. So we're going to click on data jar. We're going to click on it. And we're going to see which one of these do we need. You can see get keys. So it says get keys in the dictionary at a specific key path or get all keys. So we don't want get keys. What about get value? So if we click right here, it says get value of the specific key path, list and dictionaries, and return as JSON. So that's the one we want, get value. So we're going to put this right here. And we're going to paste this because that's what we want to do. An easy way to know if this is going to work is by simply click and play. We can just put anything right here. And when we play this, we should get this list that comes out. That's how you know this key right here is working. It works top down. So yes, it performed this, but we didn't tell it to do anything. So it erased that from the memory bank and then went on to the next one. And when it went on to the next one, it found this right here. The next thing we want to do is be able to add text. So we're going to click on text. If we click on the I to see what it do, it says pass specific text to the next action, which is what we want to do. So we're going to put this right here. All right. And the first thing we're going to do is we want project name to be first. So if you want to, we set it so we can just click on project name. And then after that, we can come over here and set, let's go to favorites, and we can set a value for this. Just to make sure, we can change the value to to-do list, and we can close out of there. Now we have our project name and our to-do list, and each time it's going to ask us for our project name. Each time our to-do list is going to be the exact same and matches what we already have inside of TickTick. Now, if we change it in TickTick, we have to go into data jar and we have to change it over there as well. All right. So now at this point, I can click right here and this will run just fine. However, if we want to press play, we can click on play and we'll see that it'll run. So we're going to say, let's call it Siri Shortcuts Kickstart. Okay, so Siri Shortcuts Kickstart. Say done. And now we can see right there, we have Siri Shortcuts as well as Kickstart. And it's working perfectly. All right. Now, this gap right here, we don't want that gap right there. So let me see something. Well, actually, let's wait because it might fix it on its own. So now what I want to do is say task paper. When I add task paper allows me to use task paper, which allows me to use special text, if you will. And those tabs that we were doing over is a special text. All right. So if I click right here, you can see task paper is OmniFocus. This is what I want. So I'm going to say text because that's what it is. Now, if I wanted to change it, I could change it. But if I wanted to do it the way I've been showing you, I could say set variable and I can change that simply to project. All right, say done. It's going to automatically update right there and it's going to go into the inbox. So now if I say play and I say demo, I say done, as you can see, nothing happens on our end. However, if we now go to OmniFocus, we're going to see that it changed. So if we go to inbox, okay, I have two OmniFocuses on here. It won't let me actually go past. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this one because I'm actually using a beta version. So I'm going to delete that OmniFocus right quick, which is this one right here. So I'm going to delete. And I'm going to say keep subscription because I still have OmniFocus installed. All right. So now we're going to come back over here to this again. And I'm going to click play. I'm going to say demo. And I'm going to say done. And the fact that I didn't get any errors, I should be good. This is TickTick. So I'm going to come back over here, click on OmniFocus. And now you can see I have it. And this is the reason why we made that space, because you can see in task paper, that space allows demo to fit in and all of these to tab underneath it so that as I do them, I could just check them off as I'm going inside of OmniFocus. This is pretty cool stuff. I'm telling you, being able to, and if we bring it up side by side, let's bring these two up side by side. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to actually delete this one just so you can see it. So let's delete this. All right, that whole project is gone. We're going to close this out. I'm going to actually come over here and I'm going to copy this right here just so it can be identical. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to click on play and I'm going to click paste. Now this is my project name. I'm going to say done. And now what I can do is I can come to OmniFocus, drag, put it to the side. And as you can see, now I have that same project inside of here. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to grab this, put those two side by side so you can see it. So now you can see if I come over here, drop this down, it reflects these two are identical inside. This is my task manager. I'm not using TickTick as a task manager. I'm using it as a way to capture my ideals, to have them in a separate place from everything else. This is TickTick is my ideal bank, and I get it. Some people would say you're not using TickTick right, it's super powerful, blah, 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 blah. However, for me, my use case, this is how I like to use TickTick. I use it as a project, as a way to capture my ideas and a way to archive my videos once they've been published or once my content been published. I use it in that way so I can always have access to those URLs and things like that. I use OmniFocus for what it's best at, which is being able to set up my projects and get things done. TickTick, OmniFocus, I can't, add images inside of Omni. I can, but it don't look as good as TickTick. I can add text inside of OmniFocus, but it don't look as good as TickTick. So that's why I use it. All right, so if we come over here to, let's come over here to today. Let's see here. We can see Wednesday. We can see I published that already. It was set up for automatic. And if we come over here, come right here, come to completed, we can look at I return my MacBook Pro, and you can see this is what it started out as, and then you can see this is the description and all that other stuff. You can see this is my thumbnail, this is the actual URL, and you can see that this is the end result of it. It's pretty cool. I couldn't do something like this inside of OmniFocus. It just wouldn't work. So that's why I have it over here. And that's why I like this, because over here with OmniFocus, yes, if I wanted to add a note here, I could. But if I wanted to add a video or something like that, I would have to add an attachment. And honestly, it just don't look as good to me. So that's the reason why I use both of them in tandem, because it works for me. So long and short, that's how you get started with Siri shortcuts. I mean, I'm going to be bringing a lot more videos your way about Siri shortcuts, so stay tuned. If you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. I know I was moving a little bit fast, but honestly, if you look for a problem that you want to solve, you'll easily be able to figure out how to make Siri shortcuts work for you. Because remember, you're going to start in your scripting actions. We're going to start over here inside of, let's see here, where is it? We're gonna start inside of our, when we click on new, and I'll also make these two shortcuts available below. But you can see we're gonna start in our scripting, because this, like if and repeat, or repeat with each, or stop and output, all of these are scripts that we're going to need eventually when we get into more sophisticated shortcuts, creating more sophisticated shortcuts, as you're going to see. So starting here is pretty cool. Like right here, you can see right here, you can split screen. You can open up. I mean, it's really simple. For example, I like using YouTube, so I can say YouTube. And again, I just type everything. I don't try to find it. I don't know why I'm like that. I just am. So I can say I want YouTube on the left. And then I can say I want my node. Let's see, do I got my node on here? Yes, I do. And I want my node on the right. So my left, my right, which is probably going to be reversed for you. And then if I click on play, come on. Like, how is that not super cool? Like, it's so much you can do with shortcuts. Like, this will make your life so much easier. I can't stress it enough. It is really easy. And that was only one action. You don't have to like try to, figure out these overly complex actions starting out. You could start out with just one thing you want to fix, or one thing that's going to remove the friction of getting things done for you. All right. So with that being said, I'm Will. I hope you enjoyed this tech talk, and I'll catch you in the very next one. Till next time. Later.